So much nostalgia. Yeah, that's the stuff. Welcome to a really retro review of Sonic 3. This was a difficult game to review. Even though this game was intended for console use, it's still from an era that was quite focused or stuck with an arcade style in mind, meaning detailed stories weren't really thought about. Couple that with a fairly simple gameplay style and the content of the game, well, there isn't much content to talk about. But let's do it anyway. It will probably be a short video, but I'm not going to drag it out with filler for the sake of making a video longer. That would be really pointless. Like, you know those YouTubers that just start going off topic to make their content longer so they can get more ad revenue? Yeah, you know the ones. 1 minute they're talking about a retro review of Sonic 3 and the next minute they're talking about something totally different. It's crazy to think they get away with this and still maintain a high audience retention. I know for a fact I'm not one of these people, and if I ever became one of those people then I'd just stop making videos. It just isn't worth it by that point. I mean, imagine sitting down and writing a script for a review and intentionally putting in a load of waffle just because you don't want to admit that whatever your idea is probably isn't interesting enough to make a full-length video out of, so you just stretch it out. Like when you were at school and you used to play with blue tack and I remember school. What a terrible place it was. Look at me now, making high quality content on YouTube that always stays on topic for a huge crowd of 45 subscribers. Talk about the sweet life. Oh yeah, Sonic. Sorry to tell you, my blue friend, but it looks like you've got a bad case of Dr. Robotnik's again. Looks like you're gonna have to thwart his evil plans. Wait a minute. Who the hell is this guy? Bro, why are you gonna be like that? Sonic 3 keeps a lot of what the previous two titles did to make Sonic, well, Sonic. Run, jump, spin, you know, all the good Sonic stuff that isn't really part of Sonic anymore. There isn't much else to tell with the story really. You have to progress through each stage collecting the Chaos Emeralds where possible. Each stage has its own unique boss, sometimes themed appropriately to the area that you're in and sometimes not, just it's because, I don't know. What else? Let me just check my notes. Okay, music is good throughout, can get a little bit intense and headachy. Yep, that's it for this section. The graphics! Sprite graphics are always difficult to judge, but they did progress over the years, and I'm happy to say that Sonic 3 is one of the finer examples of this. The sprites are well detailed with different levels of shading and vibrant colours. The backgrounds are all intricately designed and created with the stage's theme in mind. The motion is portrayed well, and my only real gripes when Sonic gets stuck in his run animation in midair from time to time, but Given the limitations of the Mega-Drive, or Genesis if you're on the US, it's difficult to see where progression comes from in terms of graphics, as 3D wasn't really utilised properly at the time, but the progression is definitely there. The first 3 Sonic games were made for the same console, yet look at the difference between the first and the third entries. What stands out here isn't some idea of revolutionary graphics, but time and energy. They were always capable of producing these vibrant and detailed sprites. It was just about time, effort and experience of dealing with them. Thankfully Sega took this on board with each of their Sonic games, and by the time they made this one, they pretty much nailed the graphics. The only time the Sonic world has looked this good in sprite form was when Sonic Mania came out, and that was 23 years after Sonic 3. It took them almost 23 years to make another good Sonic game. Just let that sink in. Naturally, there isn't much that's perfect, and in terms of graphics, Sonic 3 isn't. There are better looking games released for the Mega-Drive, so it certainly doesn't represent the pinnacle of its style and generation, but it certainly gets a respectable ranking along with the likes of Gunstar Heroes and Dynamite Headdy. Segway! the gameplay. The entire game is one giant trap. Honestly, I bet even now, 25 years later, the developers in charge of Sonic 3 are still laughing about how much of a setup almost each and every obstacle in that game was. Oh, what's that? You didn't see that object coming from the edge of the screen whilst running at 100 miles per hour? That's a real shame, you wouldn't want that to happen again. On the whole, it's a lot more of what Sonic 2 had to offer, with some extras thrown in, and one of the most notable inclusions is the shields. The shield system before this was always quite primitive, but Sega have introduced elemental shields now, each with their own basic but unique abilities. Fire, that for some reason turns you into a flamey hedgehog cannon, electricity that attracts rings and allows for extra jump height, and the bubble that gives you the ability to bounce and breathe underwater. These are a welcome introduction into the Sonic world. Nice and well utilised inclusions that don't spoil the essence of what makes a Sonic game a Sonic game. As fun as it was, you know what isn't always a good inclusion? Super Saiyan See You Later Robotnik Sonic. I win. Super Sonic is way too OP and completely takes any challenge out of the game. It's something I'd personally recommend only using after you've completed the game at least once in your life. You've also got the special stages that are accessed by finding hidden ginormous rings. These stages were super fun and definitely didn't give me Vietnam style flashbacks and severe visual migraines. So fun. Kill me. Honestly, they're okay. They're pretty straightforward, but imagine playing this in VR. Like, I can feel myself getting nauseous just thinking about it. Ugh. So yeah, the summary. I told you it was going to be a short one. The story that isn't actually a story, but more of just a discussion on what Sonic 3 is, which is basically just an improvement on Sonic 2. Oh man, I've got to stop doing these long ones. 4 out of 10. It's Sonic 2 but better. It gets a below average rating at its core. It's just a lot of the same really. The graphics! 7 out of 10. Keep in mind that it's pretty much entirely sprites. It's a well designed game. It has varying themes and animation which is mostly good. Wasn't a massive fan of the 3D special levels, but overall it's pretty nice. The gameplay! 5 out of 10. A tried and tested formula, rehashed to a decent standard. Nothing groundbreaking, but some welcome additions from its predecessor. The Sega effect! 6 out of 10. Managing to keep an already used idea relatively fresh isn't always easy, so kudos. And overall it's a 6 out of 10. An amusing game with a nice aesthetic, easy entertainment for a while, but on a whole quite short and didn't bring anything new to the gaming world. It did enough to beat its predecessor and please the fans. Yeah, thanks for watching. This is another retro review. I know I've done a lot of these recently, but no big games are coming out at the moment. I'm waiting for some. Hopefully the next review will be a big game or maybe something more modern. You can also follow me on Twitter, which I say a lot, and no one ever follows me on Twitter because I have no friends. Yeah, and also subscribe, maybe. Thanks.